So in today's video, I'm going to introduce you to the Lightning to USB 3 camera adapter. Apple is using the new package. I don't know how to say it, but it's really easy to open it. Just slides this little strip and it's going to be able to get it out. And this is the genuine USB 3 to Lightning adapter. I actually have another one which is not genuine one from Guangzhou, Shenzhen, but it's quite good, but it's not a USB 3. But this case, the Apple genuine one is a USB 3. You can see those additional metal pads inside the port, and the wire is actually a lot thicker than the non-genuine one. It's got wide inside the port, and the cable is much more bigger than the non-genuine one. I mean the fake one, but the fake one is actually quite good. It's like it only costs like $10 US dollars or like £7, but this is cost me £39. So once I connect this USB-C to my GoPro, which I'm holding right now, it's not going to record when I'm holding it, when I'm plugging it in. And I plugged this into the iPad, but it's just hard to do it with only one hand. I'll just give it a magic clip. Okay, and here we go. And the first time I got into this adapter, it's going to update its firmware for me. It's shockingly why this little gadget have a firmware inside it, and quickly it just finished its update. It took about like 2 minutes, and I'm actually accelerating in this video. So when it's got finished, the photo app pop up and it's get me into the import page, and the GoPro is set that the USB is connected, and I can choose the 2 footages in there, and I can choose which album I'm going to organize my footage into it. And this is much better when I'm using this photo app, because Apple is known to like not opening their library file to something to us. And for the Sony camera, I have to go to the setting, to the USB storage setting, and set it into the MTP so that the iPad can identify those XAVCS and AVCHD footages inside this camera. However, there is a downside of it, because when it's going to MTP mode, you can't just delete it after you imported those footages. And the same thing, a lightning cable plugged it into the charging, and at the same time the USB plugged into the adapter with this camera, and it's going to pop up right after I plugged all things into the iPad. And camera set, and go to a screenshot so that I can show you on the video very clearly. And here we have it. The import screen from the photo app popped up, and everything I shot on the camera just showed up on my iPad. And I'll quickly just scroll it up into the newest footages, and I select it all. It's not going to tell you whether it's a photo or a video. That's kind of a downside of the iPad, but I can still choose where album I can organize it to. Actually, every footage I imported into my iPad will be automatically uploaded to the iCloud photos library. So that's kind of bizarre, because I don't really want to do that. I wish to like organize into a file. So finally I open my LumaFusion, and I can start up a new project which is called USB 3 to camera adapter, and this is going to start up a new footage storage for me on the iPad. And it's easy to get all of those footage inside it. I just access the photo library and to the album and get the USB 3 to camera adapter album there, which of course I have already organized all my footages into it, and I can just do my editing on the iPad very easily. And you can see me in the background. I'm actually using a Rode Media Micro to record those voiceover, and I'm going to tell you what else you can do. So actually at first I was quite doubt that why people can use LumaFusion on an iPad, because iPad is actually, you can't access direct memory, you can't access those hard drives, USB drives, and everything else. I think it's bizarre because when this happens, you just can't import your footages. But however, iPad just offered another approach. They have some accessory like this to let you import from a PC or Mac, but usually on Mac we are going to use AirDrop, and some small footages like those background musics we used to like drag it from the file system, and now we can use file and iCloud drive to store those footages. However, because the network speed is really quick in here, so I'm fully utilizing those network, and this is kind of bizarre because I don't know when I go back to like those slow speed area how I can utilize those background musics and those like my Instagram name tag, those images I frequently use, and everything is just bizarre. But the file system on the iPad is actually quite great. The Apple actually have a space for us to use as a file manager, and LumaFusion is actually utilizing the file browser on the iPad, so you can import any file into the LumaFusion folder and get it into your timeline. It's not that bizarre because you can actually import these files directly into the file manager, or you can access the file from this little USB drive in the LumaFusion. However, those fancy transition like those M transition zoom, like those spin, like those everything else, it's just can't use on this. I have to use Final Cut Pro. However, LumaFusion cannot export those FCP XML to your computer to utilize the timeline on there. I really want to use the timeline function on the LumaFusion, and after that I can add on those fancy transitions on my computer using Final Cut Pro, using those fancy plugins, using DaVinci Resolve and everything else. This is really great. The USB 3 to the camera adapter, because it's actually connecting. You can see my footages is imported from the Sony camera. Actually, it can use from any Sony camera so far, and it can import it from the GoPro. Right now it's recording, and from another iPhone it's easy to get out using AirDrop, and actually I'm using the iCloud photo library. It's directly syncing into the iPad. One more thing I want to tell you about is that iPad does not support XAVCS directly from a card reader like this. So if you wanna import your Sony camera's XAVCS footages, you have to connect to your camera and use the USB 3 to camera adapter so that it can recognize your XAVCS footages. And don't forget to turn it into MTP mode on the USB storage mode. Well, that is almost everything I want to tell you about today. And if you like my video, consider give me a like, and if you really like my channel, definitely subscribe to my channel, and I'll constantly share my feelings and my new gadgets about photography and cinematography, or even like study and hiking anywhere. And I hope you enjoy this video and kind of follow my Instagram thing. Please consider follow me. And thank you. See you next time.